Hi, everybody. This is your math teacher, very frustrated. I am now making the same video for the third time. So I've already written the notes for it, so I'm just going to go through them. I accidentally deleted the version that was most perfect. So if you think you're frustrated because you're having to do things without me there, I can't even tell you how frustrated I am having to do things without you here. I really do miss you all. Okay, so this is a video that I am going to call The Power of One. So if you can see that, I'm going to send you these notes before I post the video onto YouTube. And I still have to figure out how to post the video onto YouTube. And this is going to help you with your 7.4 homework on how to convert units of measurement. So I'm just going to go through the notes I already wrote. I know it's not easy to see these. I'm going to zoom in on them a little bit here. But like I said, you will get them through the mail. All right? So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about how you were taught when you were little that A times 1 was equal to A, and that was called the identity element of multiplication. And it was like, yeah, we know anything times 1 is equal to itself. So then a little bit later on, you learned, well, that can be useful in converting fractions. So you learned things like 3 over 3 is 1, and negative 5 over negative 5 is 1, and that was great. And then you learned that 12 inches was 1 foot. So now we get into more advanced thinking on this subject. This is what you didn't learn in grade school. Well, if 12 inches is equal to 1 foot, by the way, you did learn that in grade school, that means 12 inches over 1 foot is equal to 1. Since they are equal, if I write them over themselves, I still get 1. The thing is I must absolutely put the units of measurement. Now, those of you who are watching this and going, whoa, 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 you're going way too fast. Remember, you're at home and you can pause me anytime you'd like and back up anytime you'd like. So I will be going slower. This one's going fairly fast because I've already done it twice. All right, so now I'm going to go on. You also might know that 1 fluid ounce is equal to 30 milliliters. And you're going, well, I didn't know that. Well, it was on the handout I sent you a few days ago on converting measurements. It's also in your textbook, or you can print up by just Googling conversion tables pretty much anywhere. But 1 fluid ounce is equal to 30 milliliters. And so if I write 1 fluid ounce over 30 milliliters, that is also equal to 1. All these things are equal to 1 because they're equal to each other. Now, when you're using units, you must put the units. Obviously, 1 over 30 does not equal 1, but 1 fluid ounce over 30 milliliters does equal 1. Now, the reality is if I don't have a conversion table, I can use something else. So I use this little bottle of ice water that I brought in because I was thirsty, and it says it weighs, or it has a volume of 502.8 milliliters, and it is 17 fluid ounces. So I know that if I put 502.8 milliliters over 17 fluid ounces, that is also equal to 1. Now, what's interesting is it doesn't matter which way I put it. I can put the 17 fluid ounces in the top and the 502.8 milliliters in the bottom, and that will also equal 1 as long as I put the units on. Okay, going to your second pages of notes from that lesson, and I'm going to label it page 2 so that when you get the notes, it makes sense to you. I found another package of snacks that I bought you guys before I lost y'all, so I guess I'm going to have to eat these myself. This one's Sun Chips, and it says at the bottom it is 1½ ounces, and it also says that it's 42.5 grams. So I know that 1.5 ounces is 42.5 grams, which means I can write that as a fraction as long as I put the units, and that is equal to 1. Now, when you do use units using ounces, be sure to leave a space or put a parenthesis or something so it doesn't look like 1.50. It's 1.5 ounces. Okay? I also found this package of crackers. This package of crackers weighs 1.38 ounces and is 39 grams. So I could put 1.38 ounces is 39 grams. And grams is abbreviated with just a G. I had accidentally abbreviated with a GR. So here's the kind of questions you might get. You might get a question that says, 250 grams, let's move up so you can see it. 250 grams equals how many ounces? And you might be going, oh, I need to know that. So you start by writing down your 250 grams, and then you go, I want grams to go away. So I'm going to put 42.5 grams in my denominator and 1.5 ounces in my numerator. In this way, grams will cancel out, and the only units I'll be left with will be ounces. So I take 250 times 1.5 divided by 42.5, and I get 8.824 ounces. So I now know that the grams convert to 8.824 ounces for 250 grams. Now, the next example I want to give deals with another unit, square feet to square meters. So here in the United States, if you own a house, you will be told how many square feet it is. My house is approximately 1,800 square feet. But if I'm selling it to somebody from Mexico or Canada or Europe, all of them use the metric system. And so they're going to want to know how many square meters is that. So if I want to do my house in square meters, I need to do that by converting. So I went to the conversion table, and I found on your conversion table, by the way, it's a handout that looks like this. If you remember, I sent it to you. 1 square foot is 0.09 meters squared. Now, in our country, we tend to say square foot. In other countries, they tend to say meter squared. So we can also say feet squared. So I put down, okay, my house is 1,800 feet squared. Then I wrote my fraction. This is my 1. I'm going to make it kind of funny looking 1 like that. I know that 0.09 meters squared is 1 foot squared. The foot squares now cancel out, and I do my multiplication, and I get 162 meters squared. I thought that's pretty cool. So my house, 1,800 square foot, is 162 square meters. Then I did another example. So I'll separate the two examples so it's easier for you to see them. I live 5 miles from campus. We measure distances in this country in miles, but if you were Canadian, you would want to know, or Mexican, or from Europe, you would want to know how many kilometers that was. So I live 5 miles from campus. I know that 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. I got that off of the spreadsheet that I sent you through the mail on the conversion tables. You could get it from Google. If you didn't know, you could go to Google and put in, or go, hey, Google, or even those of you who have those silly things at home, you could go, hey, Alexa, how far is 1 mile in kilometers? And she would be happy to tell you. All right, so I've got 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. All right, so I go to my house is 5 miles. I want miles to cancel out. So I put the 1 mile in the denominator, the 1.6 miles in the numerator, and I did the math and I got 8 kilometers. So I multiplied the 5 times the 1.6 divided by the 1. Now that's one way I could do it if I had the table in front of me. But if I'm traveling and don't have a table in front of me, I might use some things that, in my opinion, are common knowledge. Now, they might not be to you. I tend to pay attention to numbers. But one thing I remember from my younger days is I used to run 10Ks. I've run many, many 10Ks. I've even run a couple marathons, but we don't want to talk about that. I was second to last. But I did run some 10Ks, and I know that a 10K is 6.2 miles. I know that because I ran them. And so when people say, hey, you want to run a 10K? I go, yeah, how far is that? It's 6.2 miles. All right. So I know that. So I could take my 5 miles, which is how far I live from campus. I put the 6.2 miles in the denominator because I want miles to cancel out. I put the 10K in the numerator, and I get 8.06 kilometers. And you might be thinking, well, wait a minute, when you did it this way, you got precisely 8, and when you did it this way, you got exactly 8.06. So which one's right? And frankly, they're both darn correct. I mean, really, if you're buying a house and somebody says it's 8 kilometers from campus and somebody else says it, oh no, it's 8.06, you might be going, that's not the distance from the front of the house to the end of the driveway. So you wouldn't be too worried about that being an error. All right, so that's how we do those. I'm going to stop that video here and I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to do part 2. Let's see if this time I can save it without